We're gonna do a I'm gonna call it a compliment to, or something that goes along with Marshall Motoarts. He sells a 2.5-inch lift for the 570 Polaris midsize. He sells lifts for a few other models. That's the one I have, so that's who we're gonna use. I watched his video. It's a very good video. I had a couple of things I wanted to add to it since I've started on this thing. And the biggest thing is that I work on stuff for a living. I was going to bring home tools after watching his video and just kind of, oh well, I need, this size, this size, this size, and be done with the damn thing. But as it turns out, he doesn't list sizes. Now I'm sure that's because he works on more than one model. So this is a little more specific, and we're going to kind of go from there. Just specialized. If you have a 570 midsize, whether it be a crew or a standard, this is for you folks right here. This is kind of my home kit here. I did bring the Milwaukee home, the 3/8 stubby, which I love, and an extension, but the upper strut bolts, which go here. Actually, it's a nut that goes right on here. There's some other stuff underneath it. I don't think you'll have to move any of this other crap. Just kind of get it out of the way. I don't think that's a spacer. Anyways, they look about like that. Assembly right there. I still need to get the plastic part off the other one. And I just have a floor jack underneath the front of this bad boy here. Shop's a mess. It's been a mess since we shut down for business. So we're going to go through some sizes here. That's a 19. I think you can see that on these little Stanleys here. The upper one is a 19. There are 2 pinch bolts that go along the strut. They are right here and right here. Yes, I know my stuff's a mess. They are both 13 on the front and the back. 13 millimeter fasteners. That's what I used right there. And a 13 millimeter Craftsman. Now, I will say one thing he didn't mention, and I'm sure it's just because there's a lot of different applications, and his product seems very nice, so I'm not going to go too far with it. This upper one had another nut on it. It had 2. If you were just trying to get one off of it and you didn't know what you're doing, maybe didn't feel comfortable with what you're doing, but it's for the brake line. So this tightens as a pinch. This slides over that fastener, and then that nut goes on the outside of it. That's the only difference I can see from his video, which makes it a pretty dang good video. So far on the front, we've used a 19, a floor jack, a 13 end wrench. You could have used a ratchet. I didn't. Used an extension, which is probably a little too long for my purposes, and the Milwaukee 3/8 stubby. I'm going to go ahead and try and get these out, and we'll go from there. Okay, I will say getting these bad boys apart was not too awful bad. However, at 2.5 inches taller, getting them back under here, I think is a practiced thing. He did it a lot like he does in that video. I'm sure it'll be great. I'm not saying I struggled, but I did have to use a pry bar to get it in there. And I wasn't really expecting that, but it actually worked pretty good. So we're just gonna try and take the worst camera angles that we can. Let down the old Harbor Freight jack here. Some pretty extreme angles there. Whoo! And down over here. I didn't take my hood off. He did. That right there. Some more of that. Companion video. That was the word I was looking for. This here. So I haven't fastened my pinch bolts yet. The reason for that is you want the weight of the machine to be on it so that strut is fully seated. This is going to be loud. Anyways, you want to seat that strut. You want the strut seated all the way down and the knuckle. I know the angle there looks kind of stupid. We're going to pull this thing forward, get some of this stuff out of the way. Well, we plugged a tire earlier. Yeehaw. Don't want reverse, I want, there we go. You probably didn't notice it, but I did. I could feel it relax. I could feel it kind of relax a little bit, and that's because the tires get kind of towed in, or yeah, cantered in. And now, like I said, I haven't fastened the pinch bolts yet, but it just kind of lets everything relax. So I would recommend pull it forward just a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and tighten those pinch bolts, and then we'll get on the rear. Okay, so we're under the rears here. Machine all jacked up. The rears, the factory hardware is a 15 on the nut and a 15 on the bolt. But then the new stuff, which is going to go where the old stuff was, is a 9/16. Something to keep in mind on that. I am going to use the impact. We're going to see where it goes, but things are in there tight. Tight. When they do let go, that will pinch my hand. Can you believe this? I am a full-blown technician. I went to school for this, and here I am. Well, it's down there somewhere, and I'll find it. Yay. It's hot. It's done. And I need to go mow. Went together pretty smooth. One thing I do want to point out. I rolled my machine out of the shop because it's hot. It's Missouri humidity in late summer, and that's just how it is. Anyways, when you put this thing in park, there's only brakes on the rear. Means you jack up the rear with a rolling jack like mine, and it's a little bit downhill like my driveway to my shop is, the ramp here. It tries to leave. Now I had already chalked the wheels, so it wasn't a big deal. But if you're installing this someplace that's not on level ground and you don't have the front wheels chalked, and let's say maybe you're in there a little bit and it hadn't rolled, and this thing rolls forward, you can get bad hurt. I don't want to put a damper on this. It seemed to ride good. I'm happy with the lift. I think it was right at $200 with shipping, $196 plus shipping where I bought it. But did want to point out a potential safety issue, not with the lift. The lift is fine. The lift is great. I like the lift. He did a great job with it, just with people being stupid like me. I want to point that out. Beyond that, I'm happy with the product. He did a great job. Once again, the fasteners are a 19 mil fastener on the front, on top of the struts. The pinch bolts are 13s. There are 2 nuts on the top pinch bolt that hold the brake line. Be sure you get both of them. You don't have to take them all the way out. They just have to be loose. The rears are a 15 on the factory part, and the bracket uses a 9/16. Also, the bolts on the rear bracket, the ones he supplied, are the absolute perfect length. There's not a half an inch hanging out somewhere or nothing. It looks great. Real happy with it. Took it about property for a few minutes. Hauled maybe 300-400 pounds of lumber and some old carpet and stuff I had. Kind of put it through its paces. Climbed up a couple little hills. Did great. Happy with it. Everything's fine. So, until we see you again. Bye.